this morning to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I am Robert Gatewood, your host, and I am here every Friday, 10:30 a.m. I bring you the good marketing gospel. Thank you again for tuning in on another Friday. We do this on the regular, and because we're on a mission, we do it with vigor, with velocity, with fervor, and a few other fancy terms. Bottom line, we just like to get it done because there's some important things we have to accomplish as a community. And building this economic foundation is a pivotal part of that. There's a lot of things that you can do, but there is not many you can do if you don't have some type of economic foundation. And the surest way, one of the surest way to get there is through a business. Building a successful business is available to everyone. Now, I'm going to talk about later in the show. Now, I say that I put an asterisk beside that because I'm going to tell you later in the show, I'm going to give you 4 things, I call them the 4 M words, that you must have when you set out to start a business. Business development and creating a successful business is not an easy task. Can anybody tell you otherwise? You see folks out here, you're on the sidelines, and man, they got it made. They may, but they had to put in some time. They had to put in some work. And I'm going to give you the key, 4 key points, 4 key components that every business owner should possess. If you don't have it, you need to go get it. If you have it, you need to sharpen it up, enhance it. So, like Malcolm said, by any means necessary, you have to get these 4 things. Welcome again to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. Go to marketingpulpit.com. You can find us right there on the homepage. You can watch the show live. So if somebody asks you, say, how do I watch this Marketing Pulpit show that everybody keeps talking about? Do I go to Facebook? Do I go to YouTube? Do I go to Instagram? Do I go to Twitter? Go to marketingpulpit.com, and we are right there on the homepage. You can get us live right there on the homepage. So anyway, I'm Robert Gatewood. Thanks again for joining in the show today. Later in the show, I'm going to have my co-host, Falasha Day, the accountant. We're going to talk about some business, taxes, money. Glad to have her joining us every Friday at 10:30 a.m. And let's see what else we got going on here. Also later in the show, I'm going to talk about, did you know, so it's a news story, that you are probably being cyber vetted as we speak. You're saying, what in the heck is cyber vetting? That means people checking you out online. They want to know what you're up to. People vet you anyway, but it may have been made monumentally easier with the internet. So people somebody's checking you out right now as we speak. But what I'm going to talk about later in the show also, I'm going to talk about this cyber vetting and what you should do about it, how you can use it to your advantage. I'm going to give you some do's and some don'ts. Okay, so we got a great show lined up today. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I am a business developer by trade. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. Many companies over the past year or years, we're putting people online. We're writing people's business plans. We're writing people's marketing plans. We're doing people's social media. We're doing their graphic design, their logo. We are a full service advertising and marketing company. We've been doing that for 25 plus years. Gotten pretty darn good at it. So go to gatewoodmarketing.com if you want to set up a free consultation so that we can discuss your business and how we can help you. Be glad to do that. We have a convenient form right there on the homepage. We talk to you by Zoom, by phone, and however you want to do it. But I think it's important to at least talk to somebody if you are contemplating starting a business, or if you're already in business and you want to make sure you're doing it the right way. So be glad to talk to you, Gatewood Marketing. And of course, I am the president of the company. My company, Marketing Pulpit, we've been at that now for 10 plus years. We started over at Radio 1, and we still have a presence there. You can listen to some of the past shows by going to WLDC News. and we shall be back there at some point when this pandemic subsides. Let's see what is going on. I'm also an adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College. I do that, been doing that for about 20 years. So we teach marketing, talk about strategy, social media, and so forth at Prince George's Community College. I'm also a consultant for the Small Business Administration in the 8A program. Talk about how to get your business and get into the government space and how to get that capability statement out there and get those NATE codes and those all that good stuff, your DUNS number and your cage code and all that good stuff. So welcome, 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 welcome. I do come again. Man, I'll tell you one thing. I'm getting tired of coming here with a sad face, but that seems to be a par for the course lately. Every time I turn around, somebody else has left this earth. We were always honored to be in their presence, but sometimes they move on. They go on to that great beyond. Today we have two people we're looking to say farewell to. The first one is Midwin Charles, very bright young sister. You've seen her, even if you didn't know her name, I'm sure you recognize her. She was an analyst on CNN, MSNBC, see on Roland Martin show. Young sister, she was about 47 years old. She was an attorney, really on top of her game. And she passed away this week. And she really left a big hole in the void in the analyst field, or one of the talking heads on these shows. Very bright and really sad to see her go. And on a local level here in the DC area, we lost Elizabeth Davis. She was the president of the Washington Teachers Union, and she was also a client of mine. The WTU became a client of the marketing pool and Gatewood Marketing back in 2019. I didn't deal with Miss Davis directly, but I dealt with her emissary, a guy named Larry. But she's the one to sign the check, and she would be in this email feeds. And we spoke. I spoke to her, and when I was communicating to the emissary that was working with me and Miss Davis directly. So she has parted us. She actually lost her life on Easter Sunday. She was in a car accident over in Bowie, Maryland, right off 301. Very, very tragic. She was such a dynamic person. Every time you see her, she has a bullhorn. She's out there doing some type of demonstration. She was very forceful and with the government trying to get them to not be so fast about opening up schools and putting his kids back in school and his teachers and putting them at risk. And so she will be missed. So we're going to dedicate this show to two of our fallen leaders. This is attorney Midwin Charles and president of the Washington Teachers Union, Sister Elizabeth Davis. You will be missed, and we dedicate this show to your honor. Wow, man, it's always something. It's always something. I turn around. Also, now today I'm going to be going back over to get my second vaccine shot. And I'm telling you, some people say the second shot's supposed to be the tough one. Now, the first one, of course, didn't do that much. It just my arm was sore for about a day or two. I couldn't raise my arm and do my lift bench press, my 200 pounds like I know. I'm not bench pressing 200, but it was a little stiff. I couldn't raise my arm all the way up. And so that was the first shot. So I'm taking the second shot today. As soon as I get off the air here, I'm going to go get that second shot. And I guess I'll be among the fully vaccinated. Some people are talking about, what do you call it, a vaccination passport. And there's coming like once again, people draw these lines. Why does everything have to be political, ladies and gentlemen? It's starting to tick me off. So now this talk about the vaccination passport. Should you have to get a passport to get on certain restaurants? Should you have this passport to get on airplanes? And I guess it depends on where you fall on the political spectrum. If you're an anti-vaxxer, if you don't believe in the vaccination, you believe the whole COVID-19 is a hoax, then of course that's going to determine who in favor of the passport. What people are trying to do, particularly restaurants, they don't want to keep people out of the restaurant, but they know it's going to help their bottom line if they can somehow prove to the wary or the people who are cautious that it's safe by offering such as a passport entry, then it's going to bring their numbers up. I mean, that's left to be determined. But I understand the sentiment. So anyway, whether you like it or not, I will be among the vaccinated later in the day. So and I've heard that that second shot can really knock you out. I know my brother Leon, he took the first shot. He said it was a piece of cake. He said the second shot, it was like he had the flu. He said he had the chills, he had the aches, he had the it was like he had the flu. And they say that on the little piece of paper they give you when they give it to you, that if you take this shot, it's the second shot, you may feel like you are going to be having the flu or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, according to, oh, that's right, Bradley. Thank you for reminding me. L.C. Hastings. We also lost that great icon this week. He was a congressman from Florida and a groundbreaking federal judge. Once again, oh my goodness, people, y'all got to stop. So we have three. We're going to dedicate this show to three of our leaders. Sister Midwin Charles, attorney, regional attorney, Washington Teachers Union president, Elizabeth Davis, dynamic sister, man, she was out there on the front line. And of course, L.C. Hastings, congressman from Florida, civil rights icon. We dedicate this show to the three of these leaders. You will be missed, your contribution. We appreciate you and glad that we were able to share this earth with you at some point. Mr. Brown said he got his second shot on Tuesday. It didn't bother him. All right, Mr. Brown, I'm going for your approach. I'm going to take the spirit of Mr. Brown into the booth today when they stick me in my arm. I wonder if it makes a difference whether they shot you in the left arm or the right. The first time they shot me in the left arm. Somebody do some research on that. Does it matter if they shoot you in the same arm? Do they require that you get shot in the same arm? I don't know. But I'm going to give them the same arm I gave them last time since it was kind of mild. I didn't have many reactions. So I'm going to go for what worked last time. Plus, I want my right arm. That's the arm I use. So I'm going to give them the same old arm. I'm going to come back in a minute. I'm going to talk about, got a news story here. Cyber vetting. Now, what's happening, whether you like it or not, many employers are cyber vetting potential job candidates. What that simply means, they go snoop you out on social media. They go there and check you out. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But what it's not, the bottom line is, I don't think it's absolutely right, because let's say before social media, you couldn't go find out whether somebody partied last night or not, or whether they were vegetarian or Democrat or Republican, whether they were black or white. But if sometimes you can tell by your name whether you're black or white. But my bottom line is, this cyber vetting now has become more and more popular. And I bet you right now, somebody under the sound of my voice is being cyber vetted as we speak. Don't y'all go out there and cyber vet me. You're going to do it anyway, but people do that. That's okay. You go to Instagram, you can go to Facebook, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Twitter, cyber vet me if you like. But it's actually starting to become a problem. So I'm going to talk about that when I come back. We're going to talk about, first, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell you, you are possibly being cyber vetted as we speak. I'm going to tell you about it, tell you how it works, and I'm going to tell you what you should be doing with that knowledge. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. Thank everybody for joining in. Brother Brown, Brother Attorney Bradley, and everybody else tuning in all over these United States and around the world. We are Marketing Pulpit International. We have a footprint. It's bigger than I realized, because every time I turn around, we're getting people from all over the world. They're commenting, they're hitting me up after the show, getting emails. People are asking about helping produce their own shows, how to get them on social media, business plans. A young man from Africa just retained us this week to write his business plan. Great concept he has. So I'm glad we have this international footprint, and thank you for supporting us and trusting in us. And we're going to take a quick break. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about this cyber vetting. I'd like to thank our sponsors, The Perfect Batch Foods. I'm still using my hot sauce. I used some last night. So Adrian and Terrell of The Perfect Batch Foods. Great people, great food, great spice. Looking forward to working with them in the future. Hold on, we'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the Marketing Improvement TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're talking about cyber vetting this morning. Whether you know it or not, somebody's cyber vetting you as we speak. Let's just call it what it is. Somebody's snooping. Play around with semantics. Somebody's snooping. And snooping has become monumentally easier with the advent of social media. Now, all snoopers are not the same. All snoopers are not created equal. I'm gonna give you 3 types of snoopers, and so that you can kind of make some decisions on how you're going to deal with this information. Now, there are some people. And I hate to say this, but there are some people that follow you everywhere you go on social media. They follow your every move. Another term we might call them is stalkers, but they do exist. And the sad part about it, when on social media, they can do it anonymously. They know where you frequent, who you hang with, where you work, what time you go to work. And the reason they know because you put it out there for them to see. Of course, if that's your line of work, it's hard not to be stalked by somebody like that if they're determined to stalk you. But just letting you know, that's one of the people that's snooping, or what we call cyber vetting you, because they're trying to make determinations about you, and sometimes for nefarious reasons. Sometimes it's not nefarious. Sometimes they might have a crush on you. Sometimes they just like you. They got that you have that star quality, and they just can't keep their eyes off you for whatever reason. They just follow you everywhere you go. Okay. Then there are these people that just kind of keep an eye on you. Those kind of snoopers. They're not really stalking you, but they're just kind of curious about you. Could be your competitors, could be old flame, could be somebody just want to see what you're up to. They're not doing any kind of crazy stuff, but they do check in every now and then to see what you're doing. We call that the keep an eye on you. They might check on you once or twice a week to see what's up. And then the third type of snooper, what we call cyber vetters, they're kind of situational on an as needed basis. In other words, they might want to know where you're going to be on a certain date. Might want to know what you did lately. Maybe an employer wants to know what, do a little snooping in your background. So they're doing it only on an as needed basis. They don't have you marked. They're not following you. They're not checking in on a periodic basis. They're just doing it when they need to. So it's important to understand the difference. There's some people that really should not be on social media. Really. They do stalk. We can call it cyber vetting. We can call it whatever we want to do. But there are some people that just snoop. They stalk. They follow you. There are other people doing it like I said, you're checking out, see what you're doing. Then you have some people just doing it because it makes their life easier. Now, who are these snoopers? Who are these people checking in on you? Let me tell you who some of them are, in case you did not know. Your employers, your boss, your potential employers, they are cyber vetting you. They are snooping at you. They're giving you this information. You handing it to them on a silver platter, and they are taking advantage of it. Is it right or wrong? Well, I'm going to tell you the wrong part about it, because people making snap decisions about you. Let's use that legal term that I'm sure Brother Bradley is familiar with. Prima facie, at first glance. If I just pop in there and I see, first thing I see is you got you half dressed, I might make a snap decision about you, because at first face value, at first glance, that's what I saw. And you have to keep that in mind. What is the first thing people are going to see when they come to your social media platform? You might be a brilliant scholar. You might be a member of the Mensa Club. The first thing they see is you have dressed or flashing the gang sign, then of course that's what they're going to take away. So employers are one of the people that are snooping around. Your clients, yeah, I know. I've been snooped. I've been cyber vetted, probably as much as anybody. That's okay, but we know it happens. You have to, at least I know it happens. Okay, your clients will cyber vet you, and contractors, professionals like myself, will cyber vet their clients. I can't tell you how many times, well, I'm not going to tell my clients this, but yeah, sometimes somebody come across my desk and looks a little questionable. You know, they might be selling vaping machines or something that doesn't seem quite right. And I'm like, maybe there's something else I can help them with. Maybe I can steer them away from one type of occupation into another. So I might go and try to find out a little bit more about their mind's race, their mental state, and maybe I can put them in a different direction. So yeah, okay, occasionally I have cyber vetted. Okay, I'm not a stalker now, but I will every now and then peep somebody's social media platform out just to see what else they're up to. Kind of help me decide and help them put them in the right path to success. Government agencies, they're notorious for cyber vetting. They will check you out in a heartbeat. Social seekers, that people who want to just connect with you on a social level, you're being cyber vetted by them on a constant. Your neighbors, oh, you didn't know this, you didn't think about this. That neighbor, they can see you in the driveway. They can see you out cutting your grass. They don't know what's going on behind those walls, though. They don't know what's going on at your job. And many of them want to know. So your neighbors, yes, will cyber vet you. They will snoop at you on social media. Now, here's all you guys out here and ladies who are doing something a little on the edge of society. Law enforcement, man, you just handed them a gift. Social media has been the best thing to happen to them since the gun, since handcuffs, since rubber bullets, since tear gas. Okay, I can go on and on, but social media has been like a gift. I mean, they don't have to research. They don't have to come. I mean, you're putting it out there. Some people actually do their crimes on social media. Yeah, rats get drunk, go out here and take advantage of some poor inebriated young lady, and they film it and put it on social media. Not going to help your court case, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, those are some of the snoopers and people who are actually cyber vetting you. Now, what do they want to know? That's a good question. Why are they cyber vetting you? Well, see, let's go back to that prima facie, at first glance. Sometimes they don't want to get too deep. They just want some superficial information. That's why they feel it's okay. I think, well, shoot, I didn't go out there and do a deep dive. I didn't get all into the social security number and try to figure out all this kind of stuff. But at face value, you can determine quite a bit of information. And some of it for the wrong reason. If you're trying to deny a certain group of people, and I mean, minorities, trans lifestyle, certain political affiliations, and you're using that information to exclude people, that is wrong. And that has been one of the problems with this cyber vetting. People are using that information for nefarious reasons. So, first of all, I'm going to say, if you're doing That is not a good reason to go snooping. So this is the thing that people can find out from you about you on your cyber vetting. They can find out your age, even if you don't put your age on the screen. If you got a beard, a gray beard, they can pretty much assume you're not a millennial. Okay, people can find out about your habits, good and bad. They can find out whether you drink, whether you smoke, whether you do drugs, whether you party, whether you go to church every Sunday. It's all out there for the world to see. Might not be vital. It might not be a part of that job description or requirement for that contract. But if you have a bias and you're trying to feed that bias, social media has given you a gift. People can find out how much influence you have, who you know, who you hang with, how many people follow you. They can find out about your health. If I go on your social media page and you got a tube in your arm, hey, that's information that you can't ask people on a job application. You can't ask people, how many kids they have, whether they married or single. But I can find out if I'm cyber vetting you. Okay, I can find out where you live, what neighborhood you're in, and we're not talking about a deep dive. You put your house there on the front of the Facebook page. I can pretty much. I might not know what neighborhood you're in. But I can tell you where you're not. So you can find out things about people's experience. You can find out their race. Now this is where it goes terribly wrong. Now some people, if your name is like Xavier or Malcolm, Aisha, I mean they can pretty much kind of take a pretty educated guess that you probably are But some people are not so sure. Your name is Robert or Bradley, Gerald. It's a little harder. But let's say if you had nefarious intent, you're trying to keep your company a certain culture, then you might do some of this cyber vetting. You go out there, you log into their page, and whoop, there you go. Let's put a little X beside their name, or let's get back to them later on, or just put them in this position versus that position. That's where cyber vetting goes wrong, and why I have a problem with it. Now, what are we going to do about it? Well, first of all, know that you are being cyber vetted. And let's just say you say, well, I'm not on social media, so they can't cyber vet me. Well, that in itself is a cyber vetting. This person's not in social media. What's wrong with them? Or they may like that. They may say, well, I like him. He's not even on social media. My kind of person, or him or her. So that by not being on social media is actually a form you're giving out certain information. Now this may sound a little cliche, but don't post anything you don't want anybody to know. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment. A little social proof kicks in, desire to belong, consensus. Everybody is posting such and such and such. You feel like you need to do it too. But think about who may be cyber vetting you. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying just realize that you are being cyber vetted as we speak. And what do you want people to see or not see? Keep that in mind. Now you can go out here and offset and use it to your advantage by putting good information out here. You apply for a job as a priest, then you might post it yourself sitting up in church. You apply for a job as a stripper, then of course, the other thing you might want to do. But think about your audience. It goes back to marketing and targeting. Who you trying to get your message in front of. I also keep this in mind too. Some people are just innocent bystanders. You might not be on social media. You might not be posting certain things, but you have to be aware of the people around you and what they're doing. You can't be out here at the strip club and everybody in there has a camera and you back there and somebody in the background of somebody's selfie. So you have to be aware of the fact that even though you didn't post it, there's a possibility that somebody else could have posted and put you on social media. You go to these reunions, you go to these parties, these beach outings, and you're saying, I'm not going to put any of this stuff on social media. But every time you turn around, somebody has a camera, and everybody has a camera nowadays. Now, if that happens to you, and somebody post something about you on social media that you don't like or you don't want to be on social media, one, you might ask them when they're taking the photo, look, I don't want to be on social media. Okay, please don't post any of those pictures that include me. Just ask them nicely. Because some people just really don't know. They assume everybody wants to be out there getting all the impressions and likes that they want, that they can get. That's not the case. So as a courtesy, you might ask, or if somebody's putting a something out there about you that you don't think is flattering, just ask them. So look, can you please remove that? I'm trying to get a job. I'm doing this, that. I just don't want that image of me out there. So go ahead and ask them. Okay. If you got to do it, you must do it. And this is not just one of my social media talks. If you must be out there, keep in mind you don't have to be everywhere all the time. And if you want to play it safe, keep it about your business and your purpose as much as possible. Many times when you get lost along the way, you can't go wrong by going back to your purpose. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm out here on social media, but 90% of it has to do with my company and my clients. I might have a picture of me and the brothers out there singing every now and then. You might see me with a guitar around my neck every now and then, just trying to add a little personality. But I try to keep it about the business, about building businesses and putting people to work. Even when it comes to the personal side, I try to use social media and not let social media use me. So on that note, I'm just going to say going forward, just know that you're being cyber vetted, you're being somebody snooping you. You can control it to a certain extent. You can get off social media altogether, but in some cases that could be a negative depending on what type of industry you're in. If you're going out here applying for a job as a social media manager and you don't have a social media account, that's not going to look too positive for you. But at the same time, some people may think it's nice that you're not on social media, or at least that you have a limited presence. Goes back to your audience, goes back to your purpose. And as you make those kind of decisions, always keep that audience in mind. Who's going to be seeing information, who you want to see it, who you don't want to see it. And that can help you navigate these choppy waters. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get our co-host, Miss Falashade, see if she's ready to come on. She's going to talk about some money matters. Later in the show, I'm also going to talk about these 4 M's that you must have if you are going to succeed in business. Now, of course, there are many other things that you probably need in business that might not be among these 4, but I can guarantee you this. Whatever you have, these 4 should be among them. There's nothing you can't already have or you shouldn't have already. So don't get nervous. Wow, man, I don't want to hear this because it might not be up my alley. Well, let me tell you this, most of you already do it. If you're in business, most of you are already doing it. I just want to reinforce it. And for the ones who are not doing it, just drop that little bug in your ear. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. Don't forget to support our sponsors, The Perfect Batch Foods. Get that hot sauce. You can go to marketingpulpit.com. We have our sponsors right there on the homepage. You can support them. By supporting the show, you don't have to send me any money. You don't have to write me a check. I mean, I'll take it if you send it, but I'm saying the best way to support the Marketing Pulpit TV show is to support our sponsors. Support the 98.6 band. Support B&B Cleaning. Support BLE Executive Suites. Support L. Riggs and Associates. Support the Perfect Batch Foods. Support these companies. Share their information. Tell others about them. And by so doing, you are helping build those strong businesses in our community and putting our people to work, because summer is coming, ladies and gentlemen. These kids need work. These kids need work. And we can do that by building these businesses in our community. So hang on, folks. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to run a couple of ads from our wonderful sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the 4 M's of business success. And also, see if I can round up my co-host, Falashade. Marketing Pulpit. We'll be right back after the break.
Rayford Lee Brown Sr. I am the owner and founder of B&B Cleaning Services, LLC. We are a janitorial, floor cleaning, and property maintenance business.
And love that music. Thank you, Bradley Thomas and the 98.6 band. Go to np6.band and find out about that story. Get that CD. That's some good old school music. Woo! I play that CD. I worn it out. I may have to order another one, Bradley, because I think I've worn that one out. It's a 2-set CD, just full of great music from the 70s when music was Earth, Wind, and Fire type music, and the Kool and the Gang, and the Daz Band, and Sun, and Confunction. Well, Bradley and his group were right in there with them, and they had to go on a hiatus for a few years, but they came back and they reintroduced the music, and they have a wonderful story out of the Washington, D.C. area. All right, folks, thank you for joining the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I'm going to jump into this next topic called the 4 M's of business success. Now, once upon a time, I would say that everybody should start a business. Well, now, not so much. No, let me put an asterisk here. Okay, let me qualify it. Yes, you should start a business, but like anything else, you should have what it takes to be successful in that business. Just jumping out here unprepared is a recipe for failure. It's hard enough to succeed in business, even when you have the right ingredients. But many people have jumped out here just woefully unprepared. Now, you can write a book. I can sit here and write a list as long as your arm of everything you need to have in business to succeed. But there's so many different types of businesses that I'd have to be taking every type of business into consideration. Okay, well, you need the right type of equipment. Well, certain businesses don't need equipment. You need the right truck. Well, you don't need a truck for every business. You need the right kind of office. Nope, every business will need an office. So what I'm going to do, these are generalities that can apply to every business, regardless of the industry. These are the 4 M's that you must possess to increase your chances of business success. Okay, now the first one is here. The mindset. See, I told you this was easy. The mindset. You have to kick your old self to the curb. Now, let's say you've been working for the government for the past 30 years. Nothing wrong with working for the government, because, man, these folks making. If you've been in the government for 30 years, you get some long green. I ain't mad at you. But that sometimes those skills you had in the government don't translate very well into running a business. Let's say being a business owner. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes if you've been on a job, you've been in corporate America for 30, 40, 50 years, and you decide to go out here and run a business, you really got to recalibrate your mind. There's some transformation has to take place. You got to look at how you spend money differently. Yeah, that's right. That money got to be business focused. You can't go out here driving around the biggest, fanciest car. I mean, you may have, let's say you bought while you were at the other job. That's fine. You don't have to trade it in. But I tell you one thing, when I got my first company, I traded in my Mercedes-Benz and bought a Ford Aspire and a Ford Escort station wagon. Both were white, because back then I was doing the Uber Eats. My company was the Food Connection. We were doing the food business. I got rid of that Mercedes and traded that sucker in and got me 2 brand new cars for my drivers. That was called changing that mindset, because nobody care about a Mercedes-Benz if I'm in a delivery business. It might look good for me on the weekend, but it's not helping my business one iota. So anyway, mindset, and spending is just one of them. The people you hang around. Sorry, folks. Some folks just not good for business. Your boys that want to drink all the time on the weekend and take BFFs always taking trips. Girl, we got to go on that trip. Let's take that trip. Help you put a little money in the bank, okay? So you got to change that mindset. Something you got to change the folks you hang around in order to be successful. I mean, you ain't got to like ostracize yourself or kick them to the curtain, put them in the pasture. But you might look at them, might kind of change the amount of time you spend with them. You have to pick up some new friends, some people who are a little more business minded. Because I'm gonna tell you, some of those folks that have never been in a business, they just not, the things you say are just not gonna make sense to them. They're gonna think you crazy half the time, and you may be. But you need some more crazies around you who understand where you're trying to get to. Okay, uh, the hours you keep. Woo, boy, you can forget about that 9 to 5 stuff when you become a business owner. It's like you're working all the time. I'm not saying it always will be that way or it has to be that way, but the mindset of just working like in corporate America is going to change. Now, go to some of these corporate America jobs, work you a lot. If you're like a business analyst, you're working on Wall Street, you're a stockbroker, yeah, you've been working pretty awesome hours. But if you just in the mindset of punching the clock at 9 and punching it back out at 5, got to change that mindset. Sorry. The places you hang out, you got to start networking. You got to start hanging around business owners, folks in your target audience, your stakeholders. So that's the mindset part of it. You got to just change the way you think about life. Your priorities need to be reshuffled. And I'm not saying become some type of obsessed business head. I'm saying just look at your checkbook. That's the best to start because your checkbook pretty much tells you what your priorities are. People make fun of me because my Christmas list, I must have the most boring Christmas list in the world. My printer just ran out. Let me get me some more. Let me get a new printer. He asked me for my Christmas list. Give me some ink for a workforce 3720 printer. No, tell us something you really want. That's what I really want. I really get that new chair. So my whole office, if you want to know what I've gotten for Christmas and Father's Day and birthdays over the past few years, just walk through my office. That's all you got to look. You can see what my priorities are. I'm not saying you have to be that crazy about it, but I'm just saying my mindset did change once I became a business owner. And for the better, it worked. Now, the other M you got to keep in mind is your mission, which also is your purpose. You need a mission and a purpose to succeed in business. Full stop. I'm not going to negotiate on that because there are going to be times when this business is not going to be making you any money and you're going to want to give up. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that mission is going to keep you going. That mission is going to be the fuel that keeps you going. So your mission is about your purpose, your raison d'etre, your reasons for being, and that should be embedded in that business. So that first M is the mindset. The second one is the mission. Okay. The third M is the market. You need the mindset, you need the mission, and you need the market. Because the market is going to determine what businesses and services you need to bring to the marketplace. My market is small startup businesses. Okay. That's all I need to know about what services I need to go out and get. They need some marketing. They need a website. They need some social media. They need a logo. They need a brand. I know who my market is. So, folks, when you're doing that mindset and that mission, you better be thinking about who is that market you're going after, and make it narrow. You can't sell to everybody because now the good thing about the mission though is that when you get the right mission, you can start out with a narrow focus on the products and services. Don't waver too much on the market, but the products and services, yes. But you can layer on these additional services and products to feed that market. I didn't always do websites. Matter of fact, websites weren't even around when I first started back in 1996. Well, they were around, but they weren't many of them. But I knew that as my market grew and as the time changed, I had to shift because I knew my market needed websites. Just like in about 2000 or so, I also realized they needed social media. Right now, I realize they need online training mechanisms. Once you get the market, you will always find some products to sell them and services. Okay, so it's mindset, mission, and market. And the last one, which is going to be a good segue for my co-host coming up next, is money. Folks, I don't know who told you this, but go back and slap them. No, don't slap them. I'm not into violence. Somebody may have told you you don't need money to start a business. I'm gonna tell you why you need to slap them, because that one of those people used to be me when I was green around the gills. I said, man, go out here and just jump in, and you can make the money as you go. You better have some, or you better have a way to get some from the jump. I hate to say it, but you cannot fund this mission, this passion, this purpose, bring services and products to the marketplace without some money. First of all, your competition has money. I think the successful ones. Now, how you get that money is up in the air. It's up for debate. But you got to get the money. You got to manage it. You got to maintain it. And like I said, I'm going to bring my co-host on in a moment. She's going to help us with that. But money is a pivotal part of business success. Look at it like an investment. You can't go out here and start a restaurant with no money. As crazy as it may sound, I've had people to try. Well, look, my big mama, she cooked some mean ribs, so she gonna supply the ribs, and little man over there, he gonna make the Kool-Aid, and man, that's gonna last about a week. Folks, don't fool yourself into believe you don't need money to start a business. How you get it? You get a loan. You can bootstrap, take that big government job and put some of that money toward that business. Savings, 501ks, credit cards. I bought my first business. I funded with 3 credit cards. I had good credit, took 3 credit cards, had about $5,000 each on each one of them. Took those credit cards and bought me a payphone business. I needed some money, okay? I'm not gonna be the expert here on how to tell you to go get money. But you got PPP money out here now, you got EIDL, you got STEMIs. There's money out here. And you better, if you change your mindset, some of that money you have access to can be directed towards your business. Like I did, I sold off an asset. I sold my Mercedes and bought 2 cars. I bought a Ford. I would never forget that. I bought me a little Ford Aspire and I bought me a Ford Escort station wagon. They were both white. I got rid of that Mercedes Benz and I bought me some cars for my business. I should have stuck with that business because now that's where the money is. That Uber Eats and DoorDash and all these guys. And of course, you don't have to sell your assets. You can leverage. If you have house assets that you can use for leverage for loans, then there are ways to get this money. But folks, you have to have some type of money. And you want to talk to a guy like me to make sure you're not putting your life savings on the line for a business that's never going to fly. I'll tell you. I'll look you straight in the eyes. Look, that's not going anywhere. I don't care how much money you put in it. That ship is sailed. That horse is dead. You can't resurrect it. Because if you don't understand the industry life cycles, just like I did when I bought that payphone business and lost my $15,000 that I put on those credit cards, you better talk to somebody. Okay, so anyway, let me wrap this up. There's 4 M's of marketing, of business success that I think each of you should have. You can either acquire it, some are innate, it came with you naturally, or you can go get it some other means. Mindset. Have the right mindset. Have the right mission and purpose. You must have your mission and purpose. You must have a market, somebody you're going after, and you need some money. You gotta have some. I'm not telling you how much. You come talk to me, I can tell you whether or not you should be putting it in that business or not. And I've told some people I got about 4 marketing strategies and business plans I'm working on right now. Some are just great. Somebody said we got to tweak this thing a little bit. It's not going to work the way you trying to do it. So anyway, folks, we're gonna take another last break, and we're gonna come back and talk to our money person, Falacia Day. This woman knows money. This woman knows money. Man, she has helped me. I don't know. Let me tell you something, folks. When something works, I gotta talk about it. I gotta sing it from the mountaintop. So I'm gonna bring Falacia Day when I come back. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm gonna be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's mindset, it's mission, it's marketing, money. And when we come back, we're going to talk about money, taxes, and all that good stuff with Falacia Day, the accountant. Don't go anywhere. Marketing Pulpit. We'll be right back after the. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back. Good morning to everybody tuning in on the Marketing Pulpit TV show. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you for keeping us safe out there. Bless your heart. And thank you for tuning in this morning. We're also talking about earlier is vaccination. I'm going to get my second shot this afternoon. So if y'all don't see me the rest of the day or the week, some people say it was a piece of cake, but I know two people that said knocked them out. So I'm hoping I'm on the good side, like Bradley and Gerald. They said it was a piece of cake to them. So I'm going there with my arm stuck out. I never liked shots, to be telling you the truth, y'all. But I'm going to get this shot today. I want to be among the vaccinated. Folks, this is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. Go to marketingpulpit.com. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. Go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Become a subscriber. You can follow the show live every week. And also go to Instagram and like us. We got a lot of things going on Instagram. Now on Instagram, what we do, we try to take Instagram and join us. And of course, also you can always get us on the Marketing Pulpit. I'm going to bring in my co-host of Falacia Day. Falacia Day is an accountant. Really, she's been with me for many years. Phenomenal young lady. Glad to have her as part of the show. Welcome to the show, Falacia Day.
Hey, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing good. So good to see you, girl. You've been busy, haven't you?
Busy, and then we've been hitting with technical difficulties, Robert. They don't want me to come and bless the people. I've been so disappointed, honestly. Like today, I barely made it because of
again. I'm glad you. Well, that's why I'm going to extend the show a few minutes today, just so we can get your message in. Because it is so important. I talk about all this stuff about marketing and the mission and the message. And boy, let me tell you, boy, if you didn't take care of that money, it's not just a matter of getting money, as Falacia Day would tell you. You got to manage that money too. You got to pay those taxes. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into it. See, I'm here trying to tell Falacia Day's story. Falacia Day, quickly introduce yourself to the audience again. For those who have the one or two people who don't know you already.
Yes. Hey, everybody. So I'm Falacia Day, the accountability accountant. I'm the owner of Suncrest Financial Services, located here in Largo, Maryland. I bless entrepreneurs with the numbers and the accountability that they need, Robert, to build 6- and 7-figure businesses, save on taxes, and build generational wealth.
Oh, boy, I like that. You got that speech down. Good, great. Can you write mine for me? That sounded good. I'm ready. If you weren't a client already, you would have been one today. I'm telling you, because that sounded good. That sounds exactly what I need. And really, most of the people out here listening, that's what they need too. So what you gonna bring in? What you gonna bless us with today? I know you always got a good message for us. What you gonna bless us with this
You
morning?
know what, Robert? I'm going to tie my message into exactly what you were talking about, how money management is key. And so what I'm really observing right now, and the reason I want to talk about this topic today is because we start the businesses and do not take in consideration our responsibilities for our accounting, record keeping, and managing the money.
Mm.
I don't understand where did this perception that, oh, you start a business and you don't need accounting. Oh, you start a business and you don't have to pay taxes. I don't know where that mindset came from, Robert. So that ties back into what you were saying, how we have to have the mindset to run these businesses. So we also have to have the mindset to manage the money of our businesses. And
Hey,
what I'm
Blase, let me run this by you. What about the folks that say, just go out there and make the money and you can figure out how to manage it later on? I'm sure you've heard that before.
Robert, I've heard it and I don't agree with it. Yes, I agree with the first part. Go make the money, right?
Right.
But before you go make the money, you actually need to know how to manage it. So when it comes in, you can do right by the money.
That's right.
And that's where we're making the mistake. We can easily go out and make the money, but now you're looking back and you're like, holy cow, I made all
There you
this
go.
money. I don't have an accountant. I don't have my QuickBooks. I don't have this. I don't have that. And then we're stuck with a pile of money and a pile of taxes and a pile of mess, and we don't know what to do next.
Help us out. Help us out. Help us out there, Blase.
Okay. So, guys, what I would advise you to do, if you don't have your pen and your paper, you want to grab, you should have had it because Robert done dropped some gems now. You should have those 5, M's, okay? But if you don't, go grab your pen and paper. Number one thing that I think entrepreneurs need to understand is that once you make your money, you have to. Now, by law, Robert, accounting isn't mandatory. However, proper record keeping is mandatory according to the IRS, okay? But what I'm finding is that the first thing that businesses don't do is do their accounting, which is their bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, problem number one, if you are not doing your accounting and not doing your bookkeeping and stuff, guys, you're going to set yourself up for failure. But we want to make money, right? So your numbers allow you to be able to see the data, to see it clear and precise and very direct as to how your business is doing. And if you were to ask at least 5 out of 10 small businesses, Robert, oh, how much money you made last month? How much money did you keep last month? What was the most profitable product or service? They cannot tell you. They have no clue.
Mm-hmm. And Blase, one of the foundational parts of success, not just in business, but in life, you do what you keep doing and do more of what works, and you do less of what doesn't work. But how do you do that if you don't know?
Right. And see, that's the thing. I think most of us, especially in the Black and Brown community, we don't understand how effective and the importance of accounting. We don't understand it. We just think, oh, because QuickBooks got a software and TurboTax is there, I don't need an accountant. Robert, that's where the mentality has to shift right there, because QuickBooks is a software. It is not your accountant. Even if, and I'm hearing this a lot, Robert, and it's driving me nuts this tax season, because the client to say, oh, well, I have my bank accounts attached to QuickBooks. I don't need no accountant. So you're telling me that QuickBooks is doing your bookkeeping? The software is doing your bookkeeping? Come on, folks. Like Robert, it's literally.
That's like saying your ink pen is doing your writing for you. I don't need to write. I have an ink pen.
Exactly. And then when it comes down to us using the TurboTax, we like, okay, well, I got TurboTax. I don't need an accountant. Out of every person this year that we've done taxes so far, there's been a new client of ours, Robert, that previously used TurboTax. The common thread between all of them, Robert, is that I've been using TurboTax for the past few years, and I have no idea why I'm getting a refund back, why I'm owing, and they just don't understand it. So 9 out of 10 individuals that use TurboTax have no clue and think that their taxes have been done correctly, or think that they've done it correctly, when actually all of the people's returns have actually been filed incorrectly, Robert. They're taking deductions that they wasn't allowed to, claiming child tuition when you can no longer deduct it, and just doing shady things. And I'm starting to think either one or two things are happening, Robert. They're doing it deliberately, or they're doing it because they're naive.
Neither one of those are good reasons.
Neither one.
Is good.
Especially if you're going to say you're operating a business. So number one key, guys, you cannot kick your accounting behind to the backside, especially, and Robert, we said it first here on the marketing pulpit around November that the IRS is going to beef up auditing. I'm seeing it full circle right now. I'm getting a wave of new clients. I'm getting a wave of new clients that have been audited. I have audited packages right here. Big packages that I'm reading right now, audit letters. And I'm telling you, Robert, I cannot make this stuff up. So basically, your accounting is what's going to protect you guys from an audit and allow me to win the audit. And so this is another reason why your accounting is very essential, because it defends your deduction. So when you guys say, oh, I went and paid for a coach. Okay, so do you have the invoice for the coach? Did you pay for it through the business account? Do you have the receipt of the payment? However, all of that ties right into their bookkeeping, Robert. So if they had effective bookkeeping, they'll be able to easily see, oh, yep, the withdrawal came out for the coach, and then I can defend that expense. But if you guys are sitting there not doing your bookkeeping, not having proper record keeping protocols in place, then guess what, Robert? They're going to be just like this client that the total amount IRS is saying she owing is $88,000. So now I have to defend $88,000 to try to get that down to zero if I possibly can.
That's not 1 year, is it?
It's 2 years, 45,000 for 1 year, 39,000 or so for the second year. And guess what a problem came into, Robert? Bad bookkeeping.
So you're getting paid, though, ain't you? Getting paid. Getting paid, but you're not taking care of that money.
Exactly. The bookkeeping was done very poorly, which that's the norm if you're doing it yourself, guys. And so you talk about expenses that wasn't supposed to be deducted were claimed. You talk about double booking expenses and everything, Robert. And then on top of that, the taxes were filed incorrectly. So we have a 2-layer problem with the audits that I'm facing right now with these clients.
Let me ask you this. Is it true that the more you make, the more likely you're going to get audited?
Say that again, because it broke up. Said the more you make what?
Is the more money you make, the more likely you're going to get audited?
Not true.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Not true. It's not true. Actually, what's happening is that more individuals that are lower income are being audited now because they have the more reason to deceive. They want to get a higher refund back. And then also what's happening is that the IRS is focusing on small businesses because they're the ones that are actually the crooks. And what I mean by the crooks is that they're allowing black market tax preparers to put fake businesses on Schedule C so they can get higher refunds. They're allowing these black market professionals to claim charitable contributions that they can't even back up. I had one client, Robert, that I asked, I said, are you an actor? She said, no. I said, are you in the Army? She said, no. She said, why you said? I said, because somebody did you check that. She said that you're an Army reservist. She said, what? And guess what, Robert? The mindset of ours is so bad. She thought I didn't do the taxes right because she owed money. I said, ma'am, I did your tax the way it was supposed to. You wasn't supposed to get a refund back all of those years because you're not in the Army and you're not an actor. So we couldn't take those expenses. So she didn't believe me. She probably went back to that other preparer, but that goes back to what you said, mindset.
She's going to get one of those audit letters probably. She is setting herself up probably.
Robert, if the IRS knew the color of our skin and was easily able to say, oh, let me audit all black people, sending those all black people, we would be crashing and burning right now. Because even the millionaires that's online, social media, they're not doing their stuff right. You're talking about even the people that's not online, Robert, they're still not doing their stuff right. And I'm very petrified, and I'm not easy sitting over here. I was just talking to my team. We're sending out action letters to IRS to stop liens. I sent out 4 lien removal letters this week.
You know, it actually, like you said, it's a perfect tie-in to what I was saying earlier, is that this mindset is one of those foundational characteristics that you must have to be a successful business owner. Unfortunately, I mean, probably not only in our community, but I know a lot of people in our community have have bought into this, that you go out here and make as much money as you can, and everything else is going to work itself out. Man, let me tell you something. I kind of bought into that myself in my early goings till I got so far behind, and I'm scared. I'm jumping at my shadow, waiting on that letter to come from out. I said, no way, I can't live like this. I've got to change my mindset. So my mindset now is, man, and particularly, and I hate to say it, some of the guys that I used to hang with, and I almost had to stop hanging with them because their mindset wasn't right. They really bought into this, like, no taxes, no taking care of your books mindset. And almost all of them either out of business or they've been audited, and some of them run afoul of the law because that mindset was not the right business mindset.
Robert, one thing I want to say is that your business cannot go anywhere, and well, as far as you would like it to go, guys, if you are missing two core things: accounting and accountability. Without the accountability to understand the importance of your accounting and what the capabilities what you're allowed to do when you have effective accounting, then guess what? You will never hold yourself accountable to do it or to hire someone like me to do it. You just be like everybody else. Oh, I don't need it. I don't need it. But this is why our businesses are failing at a rapid rate. But we don't want to talk about that, Robert. We want to talk about that we can't get loans and we can't get this. But you cannot get a loan without having financial statements, guys. The bank is going to give you a loan if you have tax liens sitting on your credit report. Okay.
And not to mention the folks who who they're hearing about all this PPP money and this EIDL money, and they're like, we can't get any money. It's all going to the big companies. Well, they have accountants. That's one of the reasons.
Exactly. All my clients that we applied for, we got them. So it's a mindset issue, Robert, and we are suffering because of it. And I am so afraid right now, for the everyday person, because when I teach and educate them that their taxes and things and bookkeeping isn't right, then they just don't believe me. Like, I'm the one that don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm the one that's set in close to 100 plus audits, Robert. And now, guess what the IRS is asking for? To back up everything. You have to have receipts. You have to have paid, canceled checks. You have to have all of that stuff to back up those expenses. And think about the average business owner. They're not keeping any of those things. So what's going to happen? You're going to end up having an $88,000 tax bill like this client, but at least she has some stuff that I can go and back up. She got some receipts. She got some canceled checks. She got some stuff. But the majority of us don't, Robert. And I don't think that this is the time for us to skate by thinking, oh, because the government is giving up so much money and we're starting to open up, outside is opening up, that everything is in the clear. Actually, everything is not in the clear. The IRS is going to beef up their auditing, and they're going to beef it up for small businesses because they need to connect the dots between the PPP loans, okay, and your business tax returns. So, and I also said on my show that the IRS sent a statement out basically saying, Robert, that they're not going to stop until they incriminate every person that cheated on their PPP applications. They're not going to stop. They said they're not going to stop until they get every person. I was amazed. I was like, okay, well, they normally say, Robert, oh, we'll try to stop 30%, 40%. When they said every false application, I said,
I was going to ask that quick question because I know this could be a whole show by itself, but what people who got the PPP and the EIDL, what should they be worrying about? Not worrying about. What should be on their mind right now?
Well, first of all,
that's a whole show, huh?
A whole show. Well, the first thing that should be on their mind is whether or not the paperwork and the information that they used to prepare the return was accurate. If that information was inaccurate, then they've already committed fraud, wire fraud, tax fraud, and everything.
Oh, have mercy.
Okay. So that's the first thing. And do they have the records to back up what they reported on those Schedule C's, okay, to be able to get the funding? The second thing that they need to be alarmed about was, after they've filled in all of the information, Was it accurately submitted? Because what I found was a lot of people were charging for people to submit the applications for them, but they were doing false documentation. So again, with the false documentation, do you have the paperwork to back that up? And if you don't, right, you're now going to be responsible. They're not going to say who did it for you. They're going to say, you know, it wasn't done right and you're responsible. So they also came up with the fact that the moment that you submitted a false application, you conspired, and which conspiracy is also the conspiracy to commit fraud reigns a lot of years of jail time as well, Robert. So just the perception or just the thought of trying to cheat the government from getting the funding can get a lot of these people in trouble as well. So I think honestly, guys, if you know you did not receive that PPP of legitimate business information and the correct information, try to return that money. Honestly, just return it. Just give it back. You know what? I didn't need the loan, so they can get you off their books because they will investigate. The Department of Justice have teamed up with the IRS, Criminal Investigative Division, Robert, to investigate all of the PPP loans. So what they're going to do, and this is what I think, they're going to pull up all of the businesses with EIN numbers and all of the individuals that didn't have EIN numbers, and they're going to ask the IRS, because we already gave them authority to do so, Robert. When we completed the forms, we gave them authority to pull out tax transcripts. So they're going to pull tax transcripts over the next 6 months to a year, maybe even years down the line. And all of the individual information that don't match the PPP applications, they will start to fill the file.
Well, I'm glad you gave that advice about, because I've talked to some people who got money, and some of them just didn't need it. They said, well, look, I was saying to myself, well, if you didn't need it, and I hope you didn't do anything funny to get it, you might just turn it back in. I mean, because they're going to be going after these people. Because Uncle Sam, it's almost, and I want to say it's almost like it was you got pulled into something that you really didn't have to, because you know, when during the pandemic, everybody felt like everything was going to be just so bad and times are so tough, and Uncle Sam just going to suddenly become Santa Claus.
Yep.
Well, Uncle Sam needs his money now, and he's going to be doing, like you said, be doing whatever it takes to get that money.
Yeah.
And so I think people probably, once again, they need somebody like you on their team to help get through these waters. Whether you did something unknowingly, unwittingly, you got bad advice. It's never too late to get good, solid advice from a strong, reputable professional like yourself. And so please give them your information again for Lasha Day. I'm sure somebody out there listening probably wants to call you today.
Yes. So guys, if you all need any help, you can give my office a call at 202-618-1297. Randy is waiting by the phones to answer your questions and to get you guys on my calendar. You can also go to accountingwithfalashaday.com. We have some information there about the PPP loans and things like that, or go to Suncrest, SUNCREST, financials.com, and find out how you can contact us, or read some of the content information that I'm giving out there as well.
Lasha Day, as always, you have been phenomenal. This is great information, folks. We're talking about the mission, the mindset, the market, and the money. Lasha Day has really put it right there where it's easy to understand that it's not just about making the money. You got to manage this money. You got to pay taxes on it. You got to get an accountant to look at those books to make sure you're doing these things right. Because Uncle Sam is not playing right now.
Can I add one more thing, Robert? So sure. I don't know if you guys know this, but due to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the rules have changed for the reporting for Stripe, Square, Cash App, Authorize.net, Zelle. All of their reporting requirements have been modified. So remember, I mentioned to you guys that we talked about this in November, that the IRS is going to beef up auditing. This just concluded that I know that they're going to do it. So at one point in time, Robert, they didn't have to issue out 1099-Ks unless your business made $20,000 or 200 transactions or both, right? That law is no longer in existence. Every merchant is now required to issue 1099-Ks once you make $600 or more. So now, for all of the individuals that have been making money on PayPal, because PayPal never sent out the 1099-K, they never filed it, because I get this all the time, and I have to send them off, on their own. Guess what? Now the IRS will have all their income, Robert. So
Wow.
no more under the table, no more not claiming income robbery because they didn't receive the 1099-Ks. They will be required to send in 1099-Ks for every business. Now, what I don't know is that if they're going to make this retroactive and have them send for 2019 and 2020. But I have
Right.
a feeling they're going to request that information as well. So if you haven't been doing things right and haven't been claiming all of your income, 2020 is you need to do it starting now.
All right, folks, you heard it right here. Uncle Sam is not playing. He's not playing. That's why you need to listen to the Falasha Day and call this sister up if you have any questions. You need to get a consultation. You need to get her on your team. I mean, we have it right here on the marketing pulpit. Thank you, Falasha Day. That's really valuable information because really what I think what you said today is actually going to save some people. Some people just really they didn't really know.
Yep.
I mean, you can play that for so far, but we're telling you right now. You got to take this accounting seriously. You got to take these taxes seriously. And Uncle Sam is not playing right now. And you can't just say, well, it went through PayPal, so it didn't happen. All that stuff is over. It's over. Okay. Those days. Hope you had a good time when it lasted, but those days are done. Uncle Sam, PayPal, Stripe, Square, you name it. These guys are reporting. They're going to send you that statement, and Uncle Sam has a copy. So those days are done. Thank you again for live today.
Thank
and
you,
we'll
Rob.
see you in a month or so. Hope to see you back in the next Friday and first Friday and second Friday in May. And hopefully we don't have any technical issues. And thank you again for live today.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
All right, folks. That's going to wrap it up today. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We'll be back next Friday at the same time. We ran a little over today, but I really wanted you to hear this information from Falasha today. It's really valuable. I'm glad she was able to share this information. We'll be back next week. Go to marketingpulpit.com. You can watch the show live there, share information with others. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be notified when we put up a new video. Also, the shows are available on YouTube. You can also go to Instagram and follow us, like us, get the information on the sound bites. We put little snippets up there. Also, of course, Facebook. We have everything there as well, and on Twitter. And as always, folks, we'll be back next week. And if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you got to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.